It is my enormous honor and privilege to welcome the opening speakers for We the Women, Colonel Tashi Thapliyal and Lieutenant Colonel Anubhav Iti. May I ask you to step up here? And we always see this, the standing ovation. You know, I have goosebumps. I see these women in uniform and I have goosebumps. I really do. Can we please give it up for our two women in uniform? I want to hear a loud round of applause. All right, thank you. May I request you all to take your seats? Okay, can I request you all to take your seats? Okay, you can see the response. You can see how inspirational it is for people, especially young girls, to be able to see today you walking out, Colonel Thapliyal, in battle fatigues. When I was a young reporter in 1999, I had to plead with the army to let me in as a reporter to cover the war. And I remember they told me that, you know, we can't let you in. And I said, why? And they said, there's no bathrooms for women. There's no food that we can guarantee you. We can't give you special treatment. And I said, I don't want special treatment. And here you are from then to now. It is so inspiring. We're all so proud of you. Let me start with you, ma'am. What made you want to join the military?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind. Well, Barkha, I come from a family which is steeped in military traditions. My father is a retired colonel, and he's also a gallantry awardee. So service and uniform are part of my upbringing. My husband, who is also commanding, comes from a family with 3 generations in the armed forces. So leadership, discipline, and pride in the family is what drew me to join the armed forces. My family was very supportive. They saw my decision as a very honorable step. And till date, they keep encouraging me to serve with honor and dignity.
So there was no resistance?
Absolutely not.
What drew you to it? One, of course, was the Fauji tradition you came from. But did you ever think this could be actually a life-risking profession that I'm taking?
Barkha, as a kid, olive greens is what I've seen through and through. So certainly I was born for this. And when you speak of fear, so certainly fear exists. But as a child, probably I was too naive. However, now, if you're asking me if I fear being in the army, then this is a voluntary organization that I decided to choose for myself as a profession. I was well aware of the risks that were involved. And our training conditions us. It helps us to convert fear to focus. We are able to assess and act better under pressure. So all I would say is that we are able to convert fear to focus.
I love that line. Convert fear to focus. You know, a lot of people think that people are fearless. Nobody is fearless. It's how you manage fear. Can I ask you, ma'am, the same question? What made you join the military?
Firstly, Jai Hind to everyone. So I come from Uttarakhand. My native home is Nainital. So I've always grown up by 2 quotes. One is no offense, just defense. And the second is devoting one son to the service of the nation. So if we see the overall state, so it contributes to a large amount of people serving in the armed forces. But the changing point, what we say, it came when in 1999, we had the solemn homecoming of Major Rajesh Singh Adhikari, the Mahavir Chakra. So I was 10 that time. So in the eyes of a 10 years old, it was that I have to get into the forces, not knowing that how difficult it was. But that was the time I decided that absolutely this is the thing where I have to go and I will be there.
Colonel Thapliyal, this has been the year of Operation Sindoor. In fact, the operation is not over. It is simply on pause. Both of you, I don't know how many of you know, both of them had, I will not share any operational details, but both of them had frontline roles in this military conflict. I want to ask you, Colonel Thapriyal, I was in Punjab and Jammu, and when I was there, it was like no war I had seen before. I had seen Kargil, which was very infantry-driven more than anything else. And here we saw the skies light up with orange flames as Pakistan kept sending in drones and missiles trying to target Indian cities. Can you tell me what is the experience of being not just a woman officer, but a woman officer at the war front?
Well, Barkha, times like these are actually raison d'etre. That is the reason for our existence. So when I speak, personally for me, this was a major capstone event in my professional career. More so because I was in command of a regiment.
Yeah.
So as a commanding officer, you're expected to mitigate challenges, to plan for contingencies, to take measured choices and decisions. So here I was in the front line, doing all of this, commanding a team of very able and fine men. So certainly it was an honor for me, and I was blessed to be part of it.
Pleasant.
Blessed.
I'm saying if you ask ordinary mortals, they will not say it's very pleasant to be part of war.
No, I said blessed.
Blessed.
To be participating
so it was
in an operation like this.
Almost like a privilege to be able to serve your country.
So obviously this has gone on in the history, commanding a regiment which was operationally active in a war front.
Yeah.
It has gone in the War Digest. So I'm very proud of it.
Absolutely, and we're all proud of you. What about you? I mean, it was such a surreal. In some ways, this is modern warfare. The nature of war is changing. The way we protect our countries, the way our militaries, women like you, men in the armed forces protect us is changing. What was the experience like?
So it is always challenging. It
Yeah.
is not dangerous for us. It's always challenging. So when we see the Operation Sindoor, if we look closely to it, so we've already been trained during the training. If we see the armed forces, we train for mental preparedness, which is very strictly followed. So as we say that युद्ध भूमि में युद्ध हो उससे पहले मनोभूमि में खेला जाता है. So something like that is already there in us. Then coming to a teamwork, so we had a very supportive teamwork, and we follow it very closely. So we get a lot of support, emotional support from each other. And the last is our daily routine is so tight and disciplined that we actually do what we did in Op Sindoor almost daily. We have simulators where we actually practice them. So coming to Op Sindoor, yes, it was challenging. And that's what we want. I mean, Ye Dil Mange More is, of course, one of the famous quote, which I'm sure you are...
Let me tell the people who are too young here to understand. Ye Dil Mange More is what Vikram Batra said before he gave his life for India. And I was a young reporter in Kargil interviewing him. And I asked him, ma'ams, कि आपको डर नहीं लगता? I was like, in my 20s, young, never seen military conflict before. And he threw his head back and he laughed and he said, Ye dil mange more. And it was a Pepsi Cola slogan at that time, which then in his interview with me got elevated to the level of, almost like a national motto. I want to ask you something, Colonel Thapriyal. You said that you were commanding a regiment and there were some excellent men you were in authority over. A lot of people wonder, and this is not me asking because I have a lot of experience covering the military, but I know a lot of people asked us this. Is a male soldier different from a female soldier? Or is the uniform the only defining sort of spirit of the military?
I would like to answer your question in a very simple fashion. Not just military, any leader needs to have two fundamentals. One is professional competence, and second is a sound personality. And when we speak of an army officer, we need to be riding high on valor and passion.
Yeah.
So out here, I'm a woman officer in a male-dominant organization. I need to work on myself. See, as an officer, you're supposed to be physically fit. Very important attribute. Second, you need to have professional competence. You better have the same.
Yeah.
So if you're meeting the boxes, there is no reason why you'll not be accepted. Have I answered your question?
Yes, but I would follow it up with saying that sometimes people assume that men will have problem taking orders from a female boss.
So navigating authority primarily is, professional competence is your key. The minute you have established your credibility, there's no reason why people would not follow orders.
We'll be opening this up for questions soon, so if we can have the mics ready in the audience. But ma'am, if I may ask you the same question. Does the uniform transcend all other different ways of thinking?
So I'll just give a very short answer. So if leadership, competency, organization ethos, if these three factors are in, and of course the leadership quality in one, then gender is nowhere. So this is what I want to say on this. And in army, we are gender neutral. A
Gender
task is
neutral.
given, and that has to be not just accomplished, it has to be accomplished with excellence. So that's
Can I
what
please
we
add
think.
something here? The cradle of military leadership and the Chetwood Credo does not speak of gender.
Yeah.
It speaks of the term officer. So thank you.
You don't have to do a hesitant clap. You can clap freely, dil se.
And in the same breath, I would also like to say that, women and men, we each have our unique strengths and challenges. So it is high time that we thwart such stereotypes. Army is a gender neutral organization and merit prevails.
But look at the level of change that has come just in the last decade. We started with Permanent Commission for Women. We now have had women leading Republic Day parades, flying fighter jets. We've had women officers like yourselves being in frontline positions in military conflict, commanding regiments. What is it that women can't do? The NDA that has opened its doors for women. Change has come, but change has taken its time, and sometimes it takes time to adjust to change. If I may ask you, do you feel that you have to prove yourself harder than men? Because that's what the other professions are not as lucky as the military. In most other professions, we have to work a little bit harder at proving ourselves.
Barkha, I would like to answer, what you said. The grant of Permanent Commission to women in the year 2019 was actually a landmark decision.
Yeah.
Thereafter, very recently in Ops Sindoor, as we have seen, there were women like me who were commanding major regiments. Then we had 2 officers who were the face of military response to terrorism. We have come a long way. The army has evolved. There are all these reforms and policies give a major signal that the army is evolving. There is place for merit, capability, equal opportunities, and certainly more inclusion. So the women in uniform in coming generations will have a good time. There will be parity. And I urge all the young girls and women aspiring to be officers to come join us and rewrite history.
So let me open this up. Is there anybody here as a young girl who thought of joining the military? I'm not sure where the mics are, if you could tell us, please. Okay, I saw a young girl raise her hand here. Yes, could you stand up? Could you stand up? I actually can't see where the mics are. Okay, come up. I can't see the mics. Come up on stage. You've got to sprint up, because if you want to talk about the army or joining the army, you've got to be quicker to start with. Come. Sit. What's your name?
Hi ma'am, I'm Hiya. I'm from Jehan College and I currently doing an internship at IIMUN. So my question to you is that, as you just said, India's evolving and there is no partiality done. What message do you give to the young girls in rural areas who don't have much of privilege, not much of education, those who have issues finding out basic necessities for themselves?
And they want to join the armed forces?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, just hold the mic up. Just hold it up.
See, the entry to army, we've got a set template. We have certain types of exams that need to write. So certainly you need to meet the QR. Those in rural areas who are aspiring to join the army, I think nothing stops you because there are n number of officers who are at very high, positions, general ranking officers who have come from very small places. So there's no reason, nothing stops you. And you need to be consistent, you need to be focused. And I know of many, officers within the family who have cleared their SSB in probably 6th or 7th attempt. So if you're determined, you're focused, you want to join the forces, then that is all that we're looking for.
Did you ever want to join?
As a kid, yes, I always looked up to the soldiers because it was always admiring for me, as it's so cool that you're doing something for your nation and not yourself. You're representing yourself as a country, and with all pride and confidence that you're fighting for the country.
Yeah, and as young girls, you can always join the National Cadet Corps.
Yeah, yes, the
that
NCC.
gives you an insight as to what army is all about.
Correct.
So joining NCC is again one of the options to get through Indian Army.
So come on, be inspired and inspire other people. While you hop off the stage, let me ask, thank you for your question. Let me ask you the same question. To anybody girl or boy, who says, I'd get paid something more in the corporate world. I want to leave India and settle abroad. Why the military? By the way, you don't need to convince me. I'm a signed-up fan, die-hard fan of the military, but I wanted to come from you, especially girls, young girls in your family, in your neighborhood, girls here today who say, can I do it? What would you say, ma'am?
So, the olive green of the army, or it's the white of the navy, or blue of the Air Force. If you're a girl sitting in a metro, or a village, or maybe in some mountain and thinking, do I have it in me? Or am I really ready for it? Trust me, it's a loud and proud yes. Because I come from Nainital. Because I am from a very small town called Nainital, and it was a loud and proud yes for me. So of course it is for each one of you. And there's no limit, and the armed forces, in fact, everyone is saying the doors are opening. No, it's not opening. They are wide open. Everyone has to just walk, make a mindset, and just go for it. That's it I want to say.
Barkha, I would like to add here again. In the army, we ride on passion. And we are certainly living a life which is less ordinary.
Yes.
So if you're looking at high pay packages, I would admit that probably, yes, there is a difference. But we're living a life less ordinary. And our pay packets are very decent. And we have the 8th Pay Commission around the corner. So I don't think there's any reason. This should not be the reason.
And I feel
passionate.
I feel payment is not the reason. You're serving the nation. It's a pride in itself. It's the uttermost pride that you can have, being a Indian. It itself is an achievement. Absolutely. There's no other achievement or
I'm
recognition
seeing
required.
other questions. Ma'am, come up on stage while they're talking. Can I? Go ahead, ma'am.
For me,
Go ahead.
yeah, okay. Serving the country is the, ultimate expression of duty.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, wearing the uniform is the ultimate expression of duty. This is my identity. This is who I am.
And
When I wear
army
the
is not a
uniform,
job.
I feel more confident. I feel more responsible.
That's it, I want to do something.
Okay.
On everybody's behalf, I want to salute them first.
Oh my God. Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Anjulika.
Ma'am,
This
please
is-
sit. Please.
The way she
now
said
you can sit with me. Huh.
that the first step you can take is you can become NCC. Like you said, national.
NCC.
Yeah, you enter.
A
in the
cadet, yes. What's your question,
The
ma'am?
cadet.
Yeah.
So I became a cadet, and I was a cadet. And when I used to wear that brown uniform and start from my home, I walked to my college, and the admiring glances I used to get on the way, that I will never forget. Yeah, like people always.
I'll tell you something. There'll be many stars who'll walk through these gates today. The only ones who will get a standing ovation are our
Yes.
ladies here.
Yes,
Isn't that true?
That's why I started with the salute, Barkha.
Yeah.
And my question is, like being in this profession or passion, I think your masculine side is very up. How do you keep in touch with your feminine side?
And what is that even?
Yeah.
ये तो बहुत बड़ा सवाल है.
बहुत
ये
बड़ा
तो बहुत
सवाल.
बड़ा सवाल है कि the traditional notions of masculinity and femininity are constantly being challenged, readapted. They're also very personal. They're different
Yes.
for everybody. Okay, ma'am. Thank you for your
yeah.
question. Can I ask
Yeah.
you to just sit in the audience while they answer?
Ma'am,
Thank you.
I would admit that certainly there is a work-life boundary blur.
Yeah.
You know, it exists everywhere, and not just for women in the armed forces, but across all fields. But what is important is to have a support system.
Yeah.
You know, that ecosystem is very important. A partner who is responsible, ready to take responsibilities. You know, a set of siblings who are back home looking after your old parents or your grandparents, you know, who are ready to uproot themselves out of their comfort zone and take care of your children. So that support system is a must. And certainly, family is the spine of a soldier.
Yeah. Can I ask you though, you know, I remember when I was a young war reporter and I would meet these soldiers, all men at that time in 1999, and I was 26 and they were 24. Some of them were recently engaged, some of them had, you know, dreams of getting married. And I would ask them, how do you block out? How does a soldier, any soldier, man or woman, block out that feeling when in conflict? And since you've said, both of you have spoken about families and support systems, when you were in these frontline positions, and you've often been, not just in Sindoor, but even otherwise, what is your mental training that makes you, at that time, filter out thinking about your family? How do you do it?
Ma'am, when we talk about how do we like to do it,
Yeah.
so a support system is must. Your family is supporting you, your in-laws are supporting you, your husband is supporting you, and there's a lot list of people who are supporting you. So there's no question of even asking ki, how do we take it. And if we see our past, if we see our history, we had Rani Lakshmi Bai. So we don't need any other icons, I feel, to even to give us a stamp on that. So coming to the same question, there's a long list of support we have, and everyone, even our team, because the first family is our unit, is our Paltan.
Is the Paltan.
So
yeah.
they are supporting us, that's all is required.
But you, yeah.
I passed the question to her because she's got a 4-year-old child.
4-year-old.
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old child.
What is his or her name?
His name is Himaksh.
And does he understand what mummy does?
Yeah, absolutely. He sees me, he says Jai Hind to me when he gets up. When he walks, when he's awake, the first thing he says is Jai Hind.
Is he here?
No, he's with my parents right now.
He's with your parents.
The
And-
Barka, emotions, you know, are natural. When you're speaking
Yeah.
of emotions, they come naturally. And obviously, though we are donning the uniforms, but we have a family back home. We have a husband, children, mother, father. But over a period of time, what happens is we are battle hardened. You know, the sense of duty and the calling precedes every other thing. I'll give you a small example. It was my anniversary on 24th of April this year. And my husband thought of surprising me. And he landed up, you know, on 22nd, he was there at my location. But then Pahalgam happened the same day.
Yeah.
And we were all prepared to celebrate, you know, our anniversary. But, you know, call of duty, he had to get back without batting an eyelid. Both me and my husband very, you know, lovingly said goodbye to each other and got on our jobs. This is what Army does to us. And I'm not missing words. It is a story with every Army officer or a service couple in the Army.
Did it help that he's also in the military?
Very much.
Would he understand, you think, if he were not?
Absolutely. I mean, we are both each other's anchors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yes, ma'am.
I feel there's a very famous quote of Shakespeare's that says, "My life and my honor both grow in one. Take my honor and my life is done." So, which means that apart from everything, the honor that we are here for, serving the nation, is the paramount. And of course, the balance that you have to create, you have to have a very understanding family back behind, and which they are doing it very aptly.
But you know, your 4-year-old child sees an extraordinary role model in you. We talk so much otherwise about motherhood and mother's guilt, and you must have often heard this conversation. I don't believe in this, because I believe that when women are living role models for their children will grow up to be fantastic citizens. But do you grapple with that? Do you sometimes find it difficult to walk out of the door into a possible dangerous situation? I'll start with you and then same to you.
Not really, no. We've trained a lot for it, and not really. And if I see you, when we were talking about your mother, you were telling that she went for the war and you were a small kid to report for it. So if you could take it, why not us?
Absolutely.
Why not us?
No, thank
and
you.
the times are different. Now we are into a generation where all gates are wide opened.
Yeah,
In
it's a
your
very
times,
different
they were
time.
opening.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of difference, and we get courage from people like you.
Thank you, ma'am. I mean, I was just saying we had to fight. My mother had to fight to just get a job. I had to fight to report the war. And here
Absolutely.
you are.
And my son, when he sees me, he learns that. That's the biggest thing. And in India, we say, in fact, not in India, we see it, if we say that mother is the first teacher.
Yeah.
Abhimanyu was taught even when he was in the womb. So that is where we have grown from. So I don't think so there's any challenge in it. And this is a process where kids learn. It's better they learn early.
You said you grew up sorry ma'am, I know you wanted to say something, but you said you grew up in a smaller town of India, and I'm just wondering, how did the town respond when they first saw you come back home in uniform?
Yeah, everyone back was very happy. Of
Yeah.
course, serving the nation is a pride. And I would like to tell you that every alternate house is serving the armed forces.
Fauji house, yeah.
So, of course, everyone is looking at the space where, you actually are grown up and then you join the forces, and, you are in that fraternity of the forces. So back home, it was, of course, a celebration. My grandfathers were damn happy about it.
कभी नहीं बोला कि ये लड़की का काम नहीं है.
Never. In
Kabhi
fact,
nahi.
I'll tell you a small incident, and
Yeah.
I'm sure my mother, if she will hear, and she will be very angry on it. So when I was going for the training, she told me, either you do the training or don't come back ever.
Oh,
So that
really?
was the strong-headed she was on me going to the army.
She wanted you to do it.
Absolutely, there's no coming back. Devoting one son to the service of nation is must. So there's no coming back.
Son to theek hai, but this was a daughter.
So son, when I say, it's gender neutral.
Gender neutral.
Tears of joy, happiness, sadness, all these emotions do exist. We are all humans, but they're all bundled up.
Yeah.
When we walk out of the door, we are a stoic personality. I'm in command of a regiment. I can't walk out looking weak. I have to look strong. There are people looking up to me. I need to look confident and in charge. So emotions do not find place then.
I was just going to ask you, what does a soldier do when I love this pronoun, when she is having a bad day? What does a soldier do? What does an officer do? You're in command of a regiment. Let's say you've had some other problem in some other part of your life that relates to your family or something else or work. But, you have to have that mental ability to put it away.
Yeah, you're talking about personal issues.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be anything. Like you said, you have to look strong. But you're also human.
Barka, we learn to deal with it. I think each one of us, we're all going through something or the other. Nobody is coming out alive here. Everybody who's working is dealing with all of this. So yes, distance is certainly an issue because there are long deployments, there is separation. So certain times you are in troubled minds. But then, you have an extended family. You have an extended family who takes care. So we are taken care of.
Yeah.
And
Ma'am,
we need
you want to add? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So I feel that, when you have a bad day, get up early in the morning, go for a run, be with your frontline family, which is your Paltan, and all solutions you get there, and all problems are resolved.
Okay. Anyone here with a military connection who kind of knows? You had a question? Yeah. Wait, let me get you the mic. And you can ask your question. Pass him the mic. Yes.
Hi. Wonderful being here. I'm Shilpi. I'm coming from Hyderabad. I think it was all getting very, very serious. So I have a question for you both, ma'am. Can you share some funny moments back in the army? I mean, how do you all enjoy? Are there any moments that you want to share with us?
Before they answer, I want to tell you the best food is what you will eat in an army mess. Best. And even in the height of war, the army will not leave a visitor hungry. You know, I remember being a reporter with no access to food, and perfect strangers, young soldiers, would make sure that even if it was whatever, anda bread, you would never go hungry. So they're amazing that way, but I'll let you answer the fun moments.
Yeah, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And army is certainly not letting us getting dull by any way. So we do have, you know, a lot of activities which keep happening. If you're talking of social get-togethers, we have plenty. And you're asking me a funny
Yeah, a funny moment.
moment.
Or light-hearted moment.
Okay.
I
So
think people
usually-
who are not familiar with army life,
Yeah.
you know, give us a sense of
Yeah.
like, there's so much you get to do, right? You learn how to ride horses, you learn how to play sport, you know, you have mess evenings and mess dinners,
So
the
in-
bada khanas.
Yeah. So in the army, you know, I was just about to get there.
Yeah.
We have this tradition, you know, wherein we have regimental barakhanas and company barakhanas. That is, you know, where all the officers and all the troops, we all get together and have a meal together, make merry, sing, dance. So that is one occasion, you know, when you let your hair down. And there's a lot of music. We don't need it. So once what happened is, in my regiment, I had called for a, you know, DJ and music, a live band and everything. So I saw that the event didn't, you know, kickstart the way I was expecting it to, and I thought I had pumped in a lot of money. And in no time, you know, the Subedar Major walks up to me and tells me that, "Saab, ये अपना बंदा लोग perform करना चाहता है, इनको out कर देते हैं." So it really took me, you know, by surprise, and I was taken aback. However, I honored the SM's request. And thereafter, I saw them literally having a good time. You know, so these are occasions. I wouldn't call them funny, but these are joyous occasions, and this is how we celebrate in the army.
Yeah, and there's a lot of music and fun and dance and masti, and every regiment has its own song.
Absolutely, ma'am. There's a lot of fun, dance, and in fact, if you see our leaders, all of them, there's a lot of you know, small places where we, even in the midst of an operation going on, the last was Operation Sindoor, and I remember a number of incidents where, you know, Jawan will come up to you and crack a small joke so that things are light. And all our leaders are like that. So we have that fun element in between to, in fact, to raise our morale every time and to realign to what we are actually doing. So it's not about just seriousness. Of course, we have those moments where we celebrate, where we dance, where we crack jokes, but we do it together.
Okay, we have 3 or 4 minutes left. If any more questions, I want to take. Okay, there are lots of questions. Can we get a mic here in the front row, please? Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Priya, and I work online. So nowadays, AI has taken over, and people are losing a lot of jobs. And in army, also drones and androids have taken over. So, do you think like AI will take over army also?
So interesting. I hadn't anticipated that question.
So actually a very wonderful question. You know, very recently, the settings, you know, we've been hearing of these terms, net-centric, hybrid warfare, you know, digital cyber warfare. And all across the world, we are seeing how, you know, warfare has changed. It's got a new dimension. Now it's not just, you know, physical dimension, but we have got, you know, multi-dimensional warfare. So in that regard, army is also upgraded. We need to upgrade ourselves. But certainly, you cannot replace a soldier.
So, so the fight is always of the land, and it's on the ground. So when we take things like the cyber or network-centric and all, yes, of course, AI forms an important part, but you have to have people sitting on the ground. AI will never do it.
See, the territorial integrity matters. It is all about territorial integrity, and for that, we need soldiers to guard our borders. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, I think by cyber, cyber warfare.
These
it
are all
can-
force multipliers. These are all force multipliers.
So, a recent example, if we see the Russian Ukraine war, both of them are, in fact, both the countries are good in AI. Russia, of course, is one of the best in the all niche technologies AI, drone, counter drones, network centric warfares, and everything. But still, it is the fight on the land. So, on the land, you need men.
And women.
You need and women. Men, when I say it is men and women both.
Yeah, you mean
so we
soldiers.
need individuals on the
Yeah.
ground to actually fight. So that's why AI will not be able to do that.
Okay.
Let's hope so.
Couple of more questions. Yeah, I saw hand go up here. Yes, sir. Yes, the young man here. Yes.
Good morning, ma'am. Okay, my name is Chaitanya, and I have a question. My question is, ma'am, could you please tell us something about?
Hold the mic up.
Could you please tell us something about super soldiers? I mean, the where billions are invested into new technologies and stuff like that. So, and big nations like China and Russia, they are like creating super soldiers. So, could you please tell us something about that?
Okay, so super soldiers. Okay, so we are talking about machine and we are talking about AI, which is artificial intelligence. So it is artificial in the end of the day. It is not intelligence. Intelligence is human. So when we talk about these things, we need to remember it is artificial. It is not the actual intelligence that we hold in each one's mind or in our brains. So it is artificial, so let's treat it like the artificial thing.
Chaitanya, let me assure you, you are in safe hands.
Well said. Well said. Well said. All right. Question here. Yes.
Hello. Actually, I wanted to share stage with you if I can.
Ask from there only because we're about winding down.
Okay. So I am answering one of the questions where you mentioned that who was the woman or the person who changed your life. That is my daughter, because once you are a mother, you are.
Is your daughter here with you?
Yeah, she's the one.
Stand up. Stand up. Let's see you. Don't be shy. Oh,
Because
that's
once
lovely.
you're a mother, you are never. It is never just about you. It is. Your life starts revolving around them, and your decisions also revolves around them. So when the career decision was to be taken, there was a question between whether you should be an Air Force pilot or a commercial pilot. She opted to become a commercial pilot, and today she is the one. Very nice. So,
Very nice.
so my question was.
Can we also hear from her, maybe?
Yes.
Before you ask your question. So you wanted to fly?
Yeah, I wanted to fly, that's for sure. And one of the questions that were, I think you asked them about the salary structure and the lifestyle. And when I was a kid, I was like, you know what, Air Force, because I have been in NCC as well.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, maybe in Air Force, I won't get the lifestyle that we all think about, which, you think that commercial pilots get. But the answer, ma'am, that you had given today, that, having the pride of the country is the best thing you can have. And right now I'm realizing that. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, so throughout the discussion and conversation, this whole thing was coming back to me. And I think she can still serve the country because while you're flying the aircraft, you are carrying so many lives on your shoulders. So if there is any message from your end to her.
So each one of us is contributing in different ways. Some are on the front line and some are actually behind and giving something to the economy. So unless you grow up and you actually stand on your feet and you do something, you should be very proud about yourself. And of course, if you get a chance, then the Dil Mange More is there. Anyways,
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's the thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You have said twice, ye dil mange more. So I have a surprise behind the door. Any guesses? I may have. It's coming. Dhire dhire. Any guesses? What?
Oh my God.
Keep guessing. In the meantime. Okay. Not so much excitement also. May I have the moderator's privilege of a last question to both of you? If you were to tell your 20-year self something with the lived experience that the army has given you, what would that be? I'll start with you and then give ma'am the closing word.
in fact, let's rephrase it.
Yeah.
If I was 20,
Yes.
I would join the NDA.
You would join
Again.
the NDA.
Again.
Lovely.
And in fact, I'll request God that if I die and another birth, I join the armed forces.
I think we can clap louder for that. The closing comment to you, Colonel.
Yeah, so Barker, 17 years in the army, each tenure has added to my professional canvas. When I look back and I think of myself as a 20-year-old, I couldn't have dreamed of anything better. Army has given everything to me.
And to girls who are dreaming of becoming Colonel Thapliyal and Colonel Opreti, you would say what?
Yeah, so, if you want adventure, you're looking at overseas deployment, you're looking for some kind of an adrenaline rush, Army is the place. With each passing year, my josh gets higher.
And one should remember, it's a lifestyle. It's not a job. So every terrain is different. Every situation is different. I'm sure ma'am is absolutely on it. Every terrain is different. Kargil was different.
Yes.
Leh is different.
Yes.
Punjab is different. And you get to know so much of culture. I mean, you might be from one small town of some state.
Yeah.
But once you join the forces, you know about the whole India as a whole. You know the culture. You know each one of the individual from each state. And you make so many friends.
I think ma'am has a closing
I
word.
just wanted to, close by saying this, that our country and our culture, it always acknowledge, Shakti. And the time is right. It is just the re-emergence of Shakti in many forms. And armed forces is one of them.
Thank
Please join
you.
us.
Thank you. May I ask our officers to just come up here? Look at this. There is not a single speaker on this stage who gets a standing ovation on entry and exit. But we're not done yet. There have been so many references to Ye Dil Mange More. There was Vikram Batra, the legend, whom I had the honor to meet. And then there is the Bollywood legend who essayed him. And I could think of no better person than my next speaker, my next honored guest, to felicitate, to honor our soldiers from the army today than, any guesses? Put your hands together for Bollywood's Sher Shah, Siddharth Malhotra. Thank you. Look at this moment. Before I give you the mic, I'm going to ask you to do the honors. And first to Colonel Opreti, who's on that side. May I ask the audience to sit down now? You can. I know you're very excited.
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Ma'am has been saying Ye Dil Mange More all... Ma'am.
Yes, I was just saying to sir that Ye Dil Mange More.
जी आपके दिल ने मांगा और हम आ गए यहाँ पे. It's an honor, ma'am. Thank you so much for your service.
And Colonel Thapliyal, who commands a regiment, in fact.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the honor. Thank you.
I want to say here, everyone can have a mic. If we can just have everybody up here, ma'am, please. Please, can we have, this is a moment for the albums, as they say. If I may ask all of you to give these brilliant three people on stage a big round of applause. Louder. Come on, show some love here. And may I ask you to say a few words in their honor. They have been in frontline positions in Operation Sindoor, both of them. And we've been hearing from them, and I want you to say a few words.
Of course. Well, I'm very, very excited to be here sharing stage with two amazing soldiers where we, as actors, always portray the stories that we hear, ma'am. I think, thanks to you, we get to play characters which are truly inspiring and heroic. Captain Vikram Batra is one such example that I was very, very fortunate enough to play. And today to share stage with you and be here with actual real-life soldiers and heroes is an honor. And all thanks to Barka, who's curated such an event where we can honor our soldiers. And if I may say, women soldiers, which kind of defines that courage and valor has no gender. And India is finally, I feel, fighting with its full capacity and capability, having women leading from the front. And we're so fortunate and really proud of our armed forces. Thank you so much, ma'am. Jai Hind.
Well, can I hear it from you all? How's the Josh?
Hi, sir.
Louder. How's the Josh? How's the Josh? Jai Hind. Thank you.